Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. Today we're going to play with Derwent Inktense pencils. And what these are, this is a 24 pack. They come in 12, 24, you can get 36, you can get all the way up, I think, to like 90 something maybe. But they are watercolor pencils that are permanent. And there's some sort of ink in them. So when they dry, they're permanent. And what we're going to do is an art journal page today. And I'm going to show you basic colors, what to do. If you don't have these, don't worry and think that you can't do it. You can definitely use watercolor pencils, colored pencils, acrylic paint, watercolor paint, uh, what is it? Pastels, watercolor pastels. It doesn't matter. Oil pastels, whatever you have that you like to work with. Pens, markers, doesn't matter. It's just going to have fun. But I got requests to show these. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll do it. And I'll do just a cool, art journal page, something easy. Now, let me move these out the way. Right here, we have them where it's just on regular cardstock. That's what I'm using today is cardstock. And you can see on there, good. And this is gessoed, and I just used my regular folk art white gesso, and I'm going to show you what they do. Let's see if I can do the same colors if I remember. So I'm just going to scribble it on. There's that, and green. I might use the lighter green, but green and blue. What did I do with the blue? Maybe I used this blue. I can't remember, but you're going to get the gist of the color, the intensity, or not. I don't know what the heck colors I used, but go figure, right? Okay, so you see the water. I mean the ones that are not with gesso, and now we're going to take just a damp brush. I'm not going to wet it too much, and look at that. These are also blendable. I'm just going to take it up there a little bit so you can see. So you can see it's definitely a little bit more intense, but you don't have to have gesso. Don't get hung up if you don't have gesso. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Don't get hung up if you don't have gesso. You can still do it. And you can do it with whatever you have. This is just cardstock, so you're going to see it's going to bubble a little bit, but that's okay. Use watercolor paper, use mixed media paper, whatever you have. Use printer paper. It doesn't matter that my cat was on my desk, apparently. I really have to clean this desk. I can't stand when my cat is up on here. But look at that. And you can blend them very beautifully. And you can water them down a little bit more if you want. It doesn't matter. And what happens is you get this, look at that. And you can see the orange. This is gesso and this isn't. It's much more watercolor, but still beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now these are basically dry. It might be a little damp still, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to just put a little bit of water on my brush. You can see it's wet. I'm going to pull it out this way and look. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Dry. So it's permanent. Now, what I love about these in mixed media is you can layer on top. So I have these. Maybe I want some of that orange to come through. Maybe I want to draw on top, but I want that not too diluted or anything like that. And these are going to dry permanent as well. So whichever one you do is fine. Let's pick, I don't know, let's do magenta. And on here. So let's say I want to draw on here. And I really want this magenta to come through, right? And I'm just going to maybe put some, a little bit on the outsides, a little bit of shadow. And then take your wet brush. You don't want it soak and soft and wet. You just want it damp. Use a Q-tip. Use, whatever you have. And then just go in and you'll see it'll liquefy on here, but it's not going to blend and give you mud. Of course, use a smaller brush if you want it to be more opaque, but I like it to be a little transparent. Now you can see right here, it dried already, so I really can't move it. Come on, you, but I'm not going to be able to move it, but it's not the end of the world. Do you want it to be a little bit darker? Well, it's wet. Look at this. It's like it melts. Now, of course, let's do this and see, and then I'll show you the other thing real quick. And you just kind of go in, move it around. This probably isn't the best brush to use. I got breasts on my mind. No, I don't. I just can't speak. But you see what happens if you use, and this isn't a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. What happens is the paper starts peeling because it's, it's cardstock. It's not meant for a water on it. So you just want to watch if you use it. You want to make sure every layer is dry before you move on to the next, because it'll start peeling and all that kind of stuff, which, it is what it is. And the same down here. We can layer on top. I'll just scribble in there a little bit. And take my brush. And look here. And you can still see some of that come through. And it's just layers and it's gorgeous. So you can play in so many different ways. It's fun. They're fun. If you're able to get them because they're a lot of fun. And like I said, they dry permanent. So you're getting that, inky, kind of very intense color. And then, you can play around with it and move it around a little bit, but then it dries permanent. So a lot of fun. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to use any gesso, just because I know a lot of people don't have gesso. Now, listen, I tell you guys to take your white paint, go buy a cheap white paint from your local craft store. They have AC Moore, Michaels, all them. They have their own store brands that you can get for like 39 cents. Get a white one. If you want a little bit of texture, you can add the eggshells, like I showed you in my video on how to do your own texture, paint. If you do it very, very fine, and then you can add a little bit of texture in your white paint for a gesso type thing. You can use baby powder, cornstarch. There's a million different recipes. If you want to gesso it, if you want texture paint or any of that kind of thing, same thing. You just want to paint it and then you want it to dry. Now, if you're doing like sand or that kind of thing, or a beachy scene, wouldn't that be cool to put that texture paint down, let it dry, and then paint it, with some brown and tan, and just to get a beautiful textured background. I also got asked about brown shells. And although I don't have any brown eggshells, in England, apparently, or the UK, they only have brown eggshells. And Fran, I think Fran from the Edge asked me this. My suggestion is to do it, because you're gonna really pulse it until it's very, very fine. And once you put your white school glue, put a little bit of white paint in there, just a drip or two, mix it up real good, and it might be enough to color it. 9 out of 10 times when you put your texture paint down or whatever, you're going to paint over it anyway. So if there's teeny little brown specks in it or whatever, you're still getting that texture and you paint over it. So, I don't think it'll be a problem. My best suggestion is to just do it. That's how I say. Take one egg, you know what I mean? Do it, grind it up real good. If you have a mortar and pestle, if you have, like I said, you can puree it in many different ways. Not puree, pulsate it. Oh no, I can't think of the word right now. But yeah, so you can do that in so many different ways and then try it and use it to your advantage. And like I said, throw a little bit of white paint in there, just a drop, and mix it, so you get that. And like I said, you're going to paint it anyway. And the beach scene or even a sky with it doesn't matter. A tree, think about what you can use those for. Angie's art channel, I think it's Angie from YouTube. I'll have to put her link down below. She also did a video where She did the eggshells as well. I will link that down below, up in the corner. Go check her out. Check out her channel. Give her some love. And okay, so this isn't going to be too massive because we're just starting out. This could be an ATC card. This could be a journal page, a canvas, whatever you want. Here we go. I know I went on a tangent about Gesso. I'm sorry, but I want you guys to know because I get a lot of these questions over and over again, and I don't mind because I know not everybody sees the videos, and a lot of people are subscribed to a lot of channels, and they don't get to see when new ones are uploaded, so it can be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to use two different blues, and I'm just going in, and I'm going to lay it down. You guys know I'm a heart fiend. I love doing hearts. And if you've been with me for a while, you know my big thing is hearts. But I think today we'll do something different. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm laying that blue down. And I'm going to lay and push a little harder. Another color blue. Not all over the same, but maybe in the middle. I should sharpen. Okay, and I think some indigo. Which is like a darker blue. And I'm going to lay it out here. Just a little bit. And let's see what we get. So I'm going to take my brush, make sure all the other colors out of it, and I'm going in. And I might need some more water. Now you also can spray this a little bit. I don't want to spray it because I'm using this paper and I just don't want to, my heart's coming through the other side. No big deal. We're going to work with everything. And you can give it a little, you hear me? The scrubbing? Definitely. Especially after that, it sits with water for a minute because it'll lift it up. And you see? And you get some striation in there. That's great. Not going to worry about it. You get some white. Now, here's the fun thing. Maybe you want to mix media this. Maybe what we'll do, I'll just use Gesso since it's here. Maybe we want to do a little bit of squirting because sometimes a squirt's okay. Come on. All right, we're going to do it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Meh. All right, that should come down. Okay. Just that little squirt, right? And I'm going to take a smaller brush. And I'm going to keep it dry. I'm just going to dip it in. And maybe we'll go and just do a little bit of clouds. I love clouds. Now just be aware that it's going to peel up your paper a little bit. And that's okay. You can wait until this is dry, but obviously I'm not. And I could use my gun, but I'm locked in my room here and it's hot today here. But I might have to. But you see how I'm doing? That's why I didn't want water, because I wanted it to be kind of concentrated. And I didn't want it to pick too much up of that blue. It's okay if it does a little bit, but I'm just using Gesso. But of course, use white paint. Use, you know, maybe you want a stormy, you know, sky. So you can do gray, you know, add some gray there. I could sit here for hours and make skies and clouds and love it. But you see, you just kind of, you know, do your thing. Maybe you want this one to be, you know, all the way, it depends on what you want. Happy clouds! Okay. And then maybe I'll do one over here real quick. Cover up that heart a little bit. Can we cover up the heart? Yes, we can. All right. I think that's all I'll do. All right. You're catching my drift, right? All right. Now maybe I'll just dry it for a second. Now we just made it mixed media because we're using paper, we're using the Inktense, we're using white acrylic paint. And it makes it mixed media. So look, can you see? See how that's looking? See how you can see up here a little bit of the peely peels, which once it's dry, you just kind of flick it, you know, and it's fine. Now, if you want to be really fancy and all, you can go in and add a little darker blue and really make these pop. But honestly, you know, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to do some green. And this comes with a couple greens. I'm going to stay away from the blue green. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to and if you're doing an ATC card, all the better. Because it's, you know, it's smaller and you don't have to use as much product and you can really try out and work with your stuff. And then some darker green, we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to show you a different technique with these in 1 second. All right. And I'm going to go in with my, rinse that off, dab it a minute. Shout out to NJ. And we're going in. More water. Let's see. Let's give it a squirt. Just add a little bit more. And you can see it liquefies it. It's nice. Too much. If it's too much water, just dab it with your paper towel or a rag, whatever you got. I like these striations. Is that a word? I don't know. It feels like it should be a word. I like it in the sky, and I like it in my eye, and I like it. No, I like it. I was just rhyming because I think I'm a Beastie Boy in another life. But I like that. It's just because, you know, nothing is so flat. Sometimes my brain can only handle so much. And that's why I like doing these kind of things. But look how nice so far, right? It's a little damp, which I hate that word. But you see, we're just doing the, maybe you want a little bit more green, you want it a little darker. So you just go in. And because it's already wet, it's going to lay down a little more color. And then I'll lay a little more of this green. And it's not going to pick up underneath. Like it's already, you know what I mean? It's kind of already dry. And I'll get a little bit more water and just kind of go in, kind of like shadows almost. And the great thing is if you do this and you add too much water or you know, it dilutes the color too much, you just use more. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not so bad. Not a big deal. Sometimes I scrub. Now this paper's not really being kind with the scrubbing technique, but I'll get those little crumples off later. Let's go back and forth. Okay. So you see, so we're just, you know, laying down some more color. And I would probably take a little more, where's my dark green? Just a little bit more while this is wet and kind of drag it through, especially on these edges. Okay. A little bit more down here. This is where the anal part of me comes in. All right, so we're just gonna leave it like that and dry, and then see these start going permanent. Lay it thick like that. Oh, I got gesso on there, so what? Okay. Then once this dries, I'll lay more on there. I don't want to mess with it too much, but here we go. Sky, grass. Like I said, this is going to bother me till I fix it. Not going to worry about it, Kelly. Move on. All right, so now I'm going to take this is ink black. Don't want that. Ink black. Don't want that. Let's do a darker brown. So we're going to take brown. And I'm just going to kind of draw a tree, add some branches. Very kind of abstract-y, nothing, you know, we're not going too crazy. And then I'll just kind of take this off here, and then I'll add green around there. And oh, we can do brown in there and paint it. Now let's just stick with these. If I get too much, I get too excited, I get overwhelmed. Don't want to do that. I'm going to take bark, which is this color, and kind of lay some in. Now watch what we can do. Let me show you. This is fun too. I got white paint all over everything because I'm such a mess. That's being a mixed media artist, is I get paint everywhere. I get paint, I get every product everywhere. So you see I'm just taking it off there. Oh, I just splattered it, which I'm going to enjoy. But look how much you get. And then I'm just going to kind of follow. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit more. I'm going to do the same. Going to keep going. Just put that up there because I know I'm going to do green there. But the fun thing about these is it doesn't matter because the green will go over that. A little bit more. It's like it melts on here. It's like fantastic. Now you don't even have to really draw if you don't want, you know, the branches and all. Use your paintbrush as your tool to, you know, make them thinner, make them thicker, whatever way you like them is what you do. See? And if you see how mine is, right? I'm not thinking about it too much, but it's like abstract in a sense. It's not a big deal. We all know when you look at it what it is. It's the prettiest tree. See, the thing is, here's the thing about me. I'm a tree person. I love trees. When we go out to take pictures or in my wherever, I love the most beat up, nasty looking, gnarly trees there are. That's the kind of person I am. Tells you a lot about my personality. But, so I'm going to go in with that same brown, and you can see how dark it is. And I'm going to kind of outline it. But, you know, so I like those kind of trees. So for me, that's what I go for. And I'm just going to, probably need sharpened. Never give up. Just keep going and make the best of it. That's what it's about. We're just doing art. It's a piece of paper. and it's about having fun. I'll make this one go like this, kind of cranky like me. There we go. And like I said, I'm gonna do some green up there probably. You don't have to. Maybe I want more branches, I think. So I'm just gonna kind of add them in. Make them go down like this and do a point. And then I can fill in the color. And let's see, do I want one here? Let's just make a yucky one. With no sense of purpose, but it's going to add a little bit more. And maybe I'll just go in and add some of the color already. Okay. Take a little bit of water and go in before it, see, like the underneath is dry, so it's not so permanent at the moment. All right. Then you can pull out, you know, a little bit more. Then I'm just going to go and kind of liquefy a little bit the outside part so it's just not so stark dark, but it doesn't matter. If you saw my trees in my yard, oh yeah, carpenter ants and carpenter bees, my goodness, the carpenter bees, I guess it's that time of year for them, but they like to destroy. Okay, just kind of soften if you want. And now you can kind of go back and put in details if you want. If you want to add some, you can add bark, you know, like stripes of different colors of the bark. And bark's like a million different colors, a million different ways. There's no right or wrong. And you can see that it's still wet a little bit underneath, so it's like lifting a little bit, which I'm completely fine with. Maybe I'll go in with a little, where are you? This is willow. That's a nice brown. I'm just kind of scraping, laying down color wherever. I'll probably go through with my smaller brush in a momento. Now, my question is, maybe, let's see. Let me see if I can find green here real quick. Oh gosh, I'm itchy. Mosquitoes. Okay. Green. Nope, not blue green. Come on. I must be out. I'm out of so many colors because I paint so much. And being a mixed media artist, y'all know. There we go. They you know, you use colors. All right, I'm just going to use this green. This is evergreen. How fancy. I'm going to use my mop brush. I just go in because just how I do it. And I'm just going to dab all around. And here's where you can decide. Do you want green, greenery on some of these and some of them not? Do you want, how do you want it? Because it's your world. It's whatever you want. So I'm going to lay this down like this. A little thicker than I might want it, but that's okay. I'm not going to fuss at it too much. I'm going to give a little green here and here. And you can still see some of the, it coming through, and that's okay. Because look at that tree. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of. Now, we laid our clouds down in the back, and I covered the bulk of them. And, it happens. Think about that before you do it so you're not, going over something that maybe you really, really loved. I might have not even put green on here. Who knows? Okay, so you see what I'm doing here. And you can see trees are beautiful, but they are by no means perfect and no means, do they make sense sometimes as they're growing out of things that you just don't understand. Okay, so I'm going to just wipe my brush off. I'm not going to wet it. I'm going to wipe it all off. And I'm going to go in and see if I can pick up some of that extra paint because I want to add some dimension here. I don't want it to be so green. And I'm going to take a little bit of white and just squirt it there. Oh gosh, okay. I had the paint stuff on it that sticks. You know what I'm talking about? Oh. Okay, there goes that nail polish. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit and I just want to mix it because I want it to be, I'll probably have to add more green in there. I'll dry it. Not all the way, but enough that it gets the majority. Okay, let's pick a different one. I'm going to go in a little bit. I want it to be a dry brush. And I'm going to kind of, just a little bit. And it adds a little bit of airiness to it. It just adds a little bit of, and we're going to add some more color. So it's not white because obviously this isn't going to be white, but I want it to have some sort of base for when I add the next color. Okay, so because I'm using, I'm trying to use like the same kind of base colors and not get too much paint, I'm just going to get a little bit of this and I'm going to mix it in here because I want a lighter green. A little bit more. And then I'm going to, same thing, kind of give this a wipe. I don't need to take all the white off, but I'm going in. There's a method to my madness. Just to kind of tint that white a little. Some of it. You don't have to do all of it. Just going to add some dimension. I'm going to push some of that white back. And then I'm going to go in. I'm going to take another. I'm going to do it clean just so I don't have to spend the time cleaning my brushes. I'm going to take more of the regular green. Not going to put anything in it. Just a dry brush going in. And if you have a darker green, you can even use that. But I'm going to kind of stick with what I got and then just go in on the edge and just kind of tap it. And like I said, the white looks, it just acts like the sky's coming through. And it's okay that you see that through there, because go look at your trees. You could see through there. You could see through your tree. You could have it come down like you're, like you have things hanging. I'm going to use this, and you see how I'm pulling down just so it kind of looks, not so perfect, because, they don't look perfect. You have leaves hanging and everything else, and dip it in. And tap. And that's all you have to do. You just play until you dig it. I'm fine with that. I think what would be fun is if you took, let's see, I don't have my red here. Yeah, let's do this. Let's say we take red. Just real quick, no big deal. Take the other side of your brush, dip it in, or Q-tip or whatever you have, and just kind of give it, now this is a little big, but I think you're getting the drift. You could do a million different colors if you want, it doesn't matter. It could be an apple tree. It could be a flower. You can go in and do little flowers. Just don't make it like so uniform. Yeah, smaller little ones. Just little dots. I think you're catching my drift. My grandmother used to have an apple tree in her yard. So I love the apples. And then you can kind of do down here, like some of them fell. Right? Or you could do a basket. You could do whatever you want. It's yours. It's about having fun. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, because I'll sit here and talk. And nobody got time for that. But you see what I'm saying? And you can use different size paintbrushes. It doesn't matter. But you see how it just changes it? And like I said, you can make these into flowers. Take your paintbrush and make these into flowers and pull petals out. And give them middle. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do this and play. So I hope that at least you try it. I know it's a with the Inktense, and not everybody has them, and I totally get it. They are fantastic. They're wonderful. They, like I said, dry permanently. You can work on top of it with acrylic paint, with anything really. And why not, even if you don't have them, why not just sit and do something like this that is so, I'm going to just do this real quick, that is, easy and fun. And like I said, you can do this on an ATC card. This is an art journal page, and you can do this a big spread. And you could put flowers all back here if you want to do flowers. I mean, it's, how do they say, the world is your oyster, or the world is your pickle, whatever the world is to you. The world is chocolate to me. The world is my chocolate, because I enjoy the chocolate. Although I could go for a Slurpee today from, I don't know if you guys have 7-Elevens, but that's neither here or there. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it greatly. If you just found me, I have over 1,200 videos on this channel. So I would love if you would subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you get notified every video that I put up, which I do a handful every week, and all kinds of mixed media and that kind of thing. So I would appreciate that, and I would appreciate if you shared me around, because I enjoy being shared around. I love you guys so very much. And as always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.